Hello everyone. Our today's topic is SQL injection and the tools we use to do SQL injection. And the most popular tool which we use to do SQL injection in a Kali Linux, it's SQL map. But before approaching to the practical, we will be understanding the conceptual part that what is the SQL injection and why it is that much vulnerable attack, or you can say it's high severity attack. Yes, because let's understand first what is SQL. SQL is nothing but an structured query language, yes, which is used by the database management, right, to manage the database of the particular organization or any organization, right? So when I define like SQL injection or SQL vulnerability, maybe there is a chance, right, that doing some kind of injections using an SQL queries, there is a chance that some kind of valuable confidential information from the database may came out, right? So let's understand and deep dive into the SQL injection, its types, the conceptual part. Then we'll be moving towards a SQL map in a Kali Linux for the practical approach. So first thing, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is a hacking technique where attackers insert malicious SQL code into websites input fields. This allows them to access, modify or delete database information. As we discussed guys, it's nothing but an some kind of input which websites take. We everyone knows that web application and the web servers, right? Web servers running SQL, whatever the database is having in the web server, it and whatever we are typing into the web applications, right, it getting reflected by the web server. So there is some blank places, right, in the web application. For example, in a website you are having a contact information sites login field where you are entering something, right, like a normal code, but in the end it's going back into the backend, and from there you are getting the response to see in the website. So there is a chance that their attackers putting something malicious queries instead of entering a normal codes, right, a normal thing. For example, if there is a login page, right, they are trying to import some SQL queries which may be give them advantage to bypass the login page, right? We'll be seeing it. So let's continue. Why is it dangerous? Can expose sensitive data like usernames and passwords. Attackers can delete entire database or gain admin control, right? Then how SQL injection works. How does an attacker inject SQL? They find an input field like a login form or search box. They enter a malicious SQL query. Instead of normal input, the website database executes the attacker's code. And that's true that if an attacker enters 1 or 1 is equals to 1 as a password, the query becomes, since 1 is equals to 1 is always true, access is granted, because in the database it is said it is always seeing the values. If it's setting the value true, maybe there is a chance that you will be getting authentication bypassed. We'll be seeing it in our practical approach. There are types of SQL injection. First is classic in-band SQL injection, then blind SQL injection, out-of-band SQL injection, time-based SQL injection, union-based SQL injection. In a classic in-band SQL injection, directly accessing the database revealing the sensitive data. In blind SQL injection, inferring data by observing the application's response to Boolean queries. Out-of-band SQL injection, data exfiltration through an alternative channels like an external server. Time-based SQL injection, inferring data by measuring response times to queries. Union-based SQL injection, combining multiple table results to extract data. We'll be seeing it one by one in a detail. First is classic in-band SQL injection. Definition in a what we have, the attacker immediately sees the result in the web response. If attacker is able to put some queries in an web application, he will be immediately seeing the response, right? And how it works, the attacker enters malicious SQL into a form. The site returns data directly from the database. For example, if we are entering in code or 1 is equals to 1 result, attackers gain access to restricted data, which we also call the bypass of the login pages, right? Then blind SQL injection, the attacker doesn't directly see results by extracts data, but extracts data by asking yes, no questions. Boolean based data is guessed based on the application's response. For example, login success or failure. Then time based database response times reveals vulnerabilities by measuring delay caused by injected queries. Out of band SQL injection definition, in what we have is data is exploited by external channel like DNS logs. How it works? SQL injection forces data transferred to an external server. For example, this code we are having here, it will be injected into the blank field of the web application, and in the return this forces a DNS request to the attacker's server. When used, when direct response are blocked but network access is allowed, then it is used generally when direct responses are blocked by the server but the responses within the network of the server is allowed. Then union-based SQL injection uses the union SQL operator to combine results from multiple queries and retrieve sensitive information. An attacker appends union select to extract database records. For example, union select username, password from users, which will be resulting the attacker sees all the usernames and password on the web pages. As SQL language is carrying like tables and the columns it's having, right? So this union selection will be extracting that columns and tables from it and will be seeing whatever the information the tables and columns containing. Then time-based SQL injection. Attackers use database response delays to confirm SQL injection vulnerabilities. How it works? Attackers inject commands like sleep in 5 to observe page load slowdowns. For example, there is one query of SQL which will be delaying a 10 seconds delay confirm vulnerability. If this injection of the SQL is injected into the particular web application, that may result in some kind of delay of the web application to load or websites to load. Then there is a high chance that there is a time based SQL injection vulnerability available on the particular target. And how to prevent this type of SQL injection, right? Use prepared statements and parameterized queries, secure SQL code that prevents manipulation. For example, the code has given below. And other protection methods: use web application firewalls, WAF, input validation, allow only expected data to be received by the servers, right? Then list privilege principle, restrict database access, always give a list privilege, right? And conclusion, SQL injection is a serious threat but can be prevented with good security practices. That's it. Then we'll be moving towards our practical part. So let's move to our Kali Linux. So this is our operating system Kali Linux, in which we are having tool like SQL map. Let's see what the functions this SQL map is having and providing us that how we can do an SQL injection on the particular web applications, right? Then we are when we'll put inputting the command like SQL-H, it will be opening a help menu and we'll be able to see this much of parameters or the flags by which we can do an SQL injection attack on the particular target. So it's an automated tool. All we have to do is input some kind of flags and it will be finding all the SQL injection vulnerabilities if the web application is having, right? So we'll be testing this in our websites like test PHP, which is used for the test purpose. So before that, I'll be just logging in and we have a default username test and password will be the test. So let's log in and just we will be trying to do a SQL injection attack on this website. And as you know, we can't do a SQL injection attack on the domain or the URL, right? We should be giving it a proper parameter. So for that reason, I need to do a login, right? But before login, let's see. I have entered the username, right? The test and the password was the test, which is provided by the website. But is it possible if I enter some kind of SQL query here, and will I be able to log in? Let's see. I'll be entering the query we have seen, right? It was one underscore or one underscore is equals to one, right? I'll just copying it and I'll be just pasting it in the password same as. Let's see, will it be bypassing the login? And if it bypass, then this website is vulnerable to the SQL injection. Then we'll be performing other SQL injection attacks on this website, right? As we know, this is a test PHP website. It's used for the testing purpose only. So we'll be doing it in an isolated environment only. So let's see. It's just taking a time to load the page. Once we find that if we are able to log in, then we'll be using this SQL map tool to do several types of attacks. Like we'll be using the flags like banner grabbing, then current users to retrieve database users, right? What are the users available on the particular target? Then current database, right? Retrieve DMS current databases. What are the databases having? Enumerating database users, passwords, hashes. We will be able to use or retrieve, or you can say enumerate the passwords of the users available on the target. Let's see. Okay, it's not giving me the login, so I'll be trying it once again. In a proper space. Yes. Yes. Now it should be giving me a login. No, it's not bypassing login, right? So let's take another example. Okay, be entering query again. I think we should be using this one parameter. Yes, let's see if it's, if instead of double apostrophe we'll be using a one quote only, and let's see if it's able, if we are able to bypass the login. It's taking too much of time. I'll be reloading the page. Copying it. Yes, now we got the login. Yes, so that means that this website is vulnerable to the SQL because I have entered the SQL query and it gave me the login, right? So now we will be beginning our test. Let's go to the artist. All the parameters, we have different parameters here. We'll be seeing in the artist what we have, and we'll be performing an SQL automated SQL vulnerability finding tool like SQL map on this particular parameter, right? Let's see what other options we are having in our SQL map. We are having the help menu by opening the -h flag. Then we can see the verbosity, whatever the tool is doing, we can check in the verbosity. Then we can use the -u for the URL to input, right? For the target, whatever the target URL, we have to specify it by the -u and just paste the URL, right? Then we have other things like data, then cookies, then all the parameters we will be seeing. Then we have to use the passwords and tables columns, and will be able to enumerate the users and password. Let's see. So the page got loaded and we got that there are the different parameters, right? We'll be testing on this parameter, and let's see, are we able to find some vulnerabilities on this website, right? So we'll be using a simple command, SQL map hyphen u and the URL of the website, right? And in the end, I'm not putting anything, just hit the enter. Let's see what we get. Okay, then the parameter art is the type boolean based blind. It's having the boolean based SQL injection available, time based blind SQL injection available, and the union query also, right? So let's see another parameters what we can use on the other flags we can use on the parameter. Let's see, are we able to grab the current users, right? Let's copy this, and I'll be just pasting it. Let's see. Are we able to grab the current user? Yes, the current user is accurate at the rate localhost, right? And let's see the other flags now. Means current database, right? Let's see if we are able to find the database. Yes, what this command will be doing for us, this command will retrieve dbms current databases, right? So whether what is the database available, it will be retrieving it for us. Okay, so it's giving us the same thing. No error. Yes, it's an current user database name is accurate. So accurate means the it's the database having in the our target. So let's see other things, right? Are we able to grab the password hashes? Let's see. Let's see. Fetching database uses password hashes. It's trying to fetch the passwords, right? So let's see if we get the hashes of the password or not. And other things we are having here, like to see the enumerate the database, to see the tables, to see the columns. Yes, we'll be doing it one by one, all the flags. Yes. So let's see. Yes, it was unable to retrieve the number of password hashes. Yes. So let's see. Are we able to enumerate the database? DBS. Yes, hyphen it was DBS. If we are able to enumerate the database, then we'll be seeing other things like the tables and the columns, and also the what are the inputs are there, right? Command was wrong. It was a term. Let's see. Yes. So let's see. Are we able to see the tables? Yes, the tables got enumerated. So these are the tables available on the databases. It's having the artists, the cards, the categories, the features, the pictures, the guest books, the products, the users. All these tables are available. Are we able to see the columns now? Let's see. Are we able to see the columns or not? What was the command? It was columns. Yes, let's just copy it and hit the enter. We just have to change the flags, and what the tool will be doing, it will be doing all the task and letting us know all the parameters which are vulnerable to the SQL injection, right? So there are 8 columns in the database accurate users. On the each table, it's finding columns on the each table, right? Database table featured, right? We have seen the table name featured here, right? So it's having how many columns are having, it's showing us, right? So on the artist, it's having ADS 3 columns. On the accurate, it's having 3 pictures, it's having 8. Again again table users having 8 columns, mean there are this much of users names and the emails, right? All the things, phone numbers, unames, emails, passwords, right? All this backend data is getting in front of us just by doing some kind of SQL queries. And this SQL map is so much powerful tool that is doing all the tasks in the automated. We just have to give the flags to the SQL map, right? Now let's see, or what can we do. uh, there is a one flag we are naming hyphen a. It will be doing all this task whatever we have done yet, okay, and other things too, that dumping the databases and the other columns and tables too. So let's see what this will be doing too for us. Just hitting the enter, and we just have to see and observe what kind of database it's enumerating. So it's have enumerated the users, and we have got to know the version of which it is getting operated. Backend MySQL is operating on the 5.0.12. It's a very critical information, guys. It should not be shown like this, as it's a vulnerable website. We know we are able to see this, right? The host names we are able to see, the current database we are able to see, right? Yes, we are able to see the system users, the accurate and the local host. Yes, and other things what we are able to see here. Let's see what it has fetched for us. Yes, it's time to yes. So it's doing all kind of attacks, right? And it will be enumerating everything whatever available on the website, right? For the SQL queries, whatever the any queries or any kind of, you can say, uh, anything which is available on the SQL parameter, it will be just enumerating and letting us know. And we are having other parameters like this. And one of the main or the best thing you can do is these options do not fit into any other category like miscellaneous. There's wizard one, simply wizard interface for beginners use. If you don't know all the parameters or like which flag we have to use where, first to use to see the what are the tables and the columns available, you have to enumerate the database first, right? So if you don't know, right, then you have the wizard option here. What this wizard will be doing, let me show you guys. So let me end this, and I'll be just entering hyphen wizard. Yes, so it will be showing us to enter something, just hit the enter key. What type of injection you have to do, normal, medium or hard? I'll be selecting the hard one. And what type of injection I have to do? Basic, intermediate level. I have to do the all type of injection. Just hit the enter, and you just have to observe the things what are going on. SQL map will be doing everything for you. Just sit back, hold your coffee, and just see what you will be getting. And you will be having the banners, current users, databases, host name, current user is DBA false, database management system users. We found the users here, right? You just have to sit back and you have to see what the SQL map is doing for you. Yes, it's for the beginners, that what they, if they don't know what kind of flags they have to use, where they, on which parameter they have to use which flag, this wizard will be doing everything for them, and in the end we'll be getting all the results, right? So let's see what it can be doing. Yes, what it found? Current ID. It has two entries, common password suffix. It find the hashes, right? It was able to find the hashes. Then it has the two entries of the hashes. Then it's having database accurate product. In the product table, what it's having a name, rewrites. Yes, web camera. It founds the camera integrated on the particular. It founds the network storage on the D-Link, everything available on the backend database, which should not be shown to the normal people, right? It's available here. Then the users, it's having a John Smith scripts, whatever available, and the hashes of that is passed. And we found the email, we found the phone number, we found the uname, right? All the things, right? Everything whichever, and it's all also mentioned which type of script it has used, right? And the address. If it's an vulnerable website, that's why it's not showing everything. But if we are doing it on a legitimate website, right, and the website is vulnerable, just imagine we're getting the all the details which are stored on the website's users, or you can say the list of the employees of the particular organization, just stored in the backend. We are able to enumerate everything using just an SQL map, right? It's an automated tool. Yes, what we are getting here. Let's see what we all got till yet. Yes, we got the name, path, space type, all the things which is a SQL map was able to enumerate. We got everything, right? The critical information which was in the backend. So in the end, what I all have to say is that this type of SQL injections are able and have the potential to enumerate all the data available on the backend databases. Okay, so to do a proper countermeasures and the mitigations of this kind of vulnerabilities, it's very serious and crucial, right? Use proper WAF, use encryptions, give a normal, don't give a users and confidential authorities or the privileges to the confidential file, you can say, and just be safe like this. So that's it today for guys. Thank you everyone.